Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to This Week in Bitcoin. Today is April the 9th, 2021. Strong hand, long-term thinking. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. Compete, don't complain. In motion, buying over crying. I'm offended by selling. Oh well, we got some Bitcoin bold guys here today. All right, Zack Voell finally makes his return to the show. First time since 2019. This dude is a freaking legend. I love his Twitter feed. Follow him. All these guys are linked below, but I had to give him that very special shout out. He's in motion. Dude, this guy goes from one job to another. He's just all over the darn place. He's going to tell us about his new job a little bit later on the show. Deniz is here, all right, from Coinbase Connect. And we got Kaz Biko is here. You're all over the place too, man. So let's start off with the big news of the week. Hello, my elite friends. If you have questions, I have answers. You can type in BitcoinMeister, do a super chat. We will answer your questions. And yeah, 18 Bitcoin make you a freaking millionaire. Pound that like button if you got 18 Bitcoin or you got one. All right. So here is a tweet from Travis Kling. He says, been seeing some Bitcoin is anti-American because it destabilizes the dollar as the world reserve currency lately. Let's be very clear. U.S. elected and appointed officials have done that themselves, totally independent of Bitcoin. And it's getting worse. Bitcoin is the life raft. So keep that in mind, people. There might be people out there saying, hey, the dollar's going to someone's going to use Bitcoin to destroy the dollar. Our elected officials and not elected officials, that seems to be their job. So with all that in mind, Peter Thiel says, Bitcoin could be Chinese financial weapon. And of course, that made all the headlines there. I disagree with that. I think Bitcoin will hurt the yuan more than it will hurt the dollar. So go ahead in China, try to use it as a weapon. You're only going to shoot yourself in the head. So Zach, what is your thought on all this?
Yeah, it definitely made a lot of headlines. I think so. Peter said a couple interesting things. The first comment that everyone sort of latched onto was he said he thinks we should pay attention more to the possibility or something like that Bitcoin could be a tool for China to destabilize the U.S. fiat currency. But obviously, that sort of begs the question, okay, how is China somehow going to leverage Bitcoin for its own political goals? I mean, that's like pretty hard to do it's just pretty hard to do, like virtually impossible. And Peter knows that. So like a couple seconds later, he said, so it makes sense that China is long Bitcoin because Bitcoin can have this effect on the dollar. So what he's saying is China realizes sort of Bitcoin's disruptive capabilities. And like, I think his word choice was poor initially, that it's a tool for China to somehow kill off the dollar or whatever. All he said was China realizes Bitcoin is disruptive and they're long Bitcoin because they have these conflicting geopolitical goals with the U.S. That's pretty much it. But then sort of got highly sensationalized across all media platforms.
Yes, it did. And he did say also, I linked to a clip below, and if you want to watch the whole thing, he was speaking at the Nixon seminar of conservative realism and national security. Yes, that Richard Nixon seminar. Unbelievable. Such a thing exists. But hey, but he did say that the digital yuan was a piece of dung. Basically, he said that. But I do want to take this, to a bigger picture. Whatever. And he corrected himself. He says he's a Bitcoin fan, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think he wanted to really spread FUD per se. But Zach, what do you think of China? If China is really, let's say they're buying up Bitcoin to hurt the dollar, aren't they hurting the yuan more so? I mean, their currency is all about capital controls and keeping their people from getting wealth out of the country, and Bitcoin kind of defeats that. So what do you think about the bigger picture there?
Yeah, exactly. So like in my view, and I think like pretty obviously, if China wants to sort of leverage some sort of pseudo crypto. I mean, it's clearly not a cryptocurrency, but some sort of like pseudo coin, digital money type infrastructure to sort of increase the one's competition with the dollar. They're going to do that, and they already are, through like sort of turbo boosting their central bank digital currency program. They're not going to like become huge Bitcoin bulls all of a sudden. I mean, it may make sense that they're long Bitcoin or like Bitcoin sort of adjacent stuff, but they're going to use something they can like completely control, which is not Bitcoin. It's their digital currency project.
Yeah, I do want to say one more thing about before we move on to the other guys here. With we're talking about China. What was it? Oh, I forgot what I was about to say. So, Kaz, you take away your take on all this.
Yeah, my take on this. So I think Thiel is definitely spreading some FUD when he's talking about China. I mean, China's pretty big national superpower that we don't get along with right at the time right now. So it's not really surprising to me, but I don't see Bitcoin as a financial weapon as regards to China. I mean, I see Bitcoin as a financial weapon for every single person. I mean, if you value your time and your savings, your sovereignty, individual liberty at all, Bitcoin's a weapon for everybody at that point. So that's kind of how I see it. So it's like, yeah, sure, it benefits China in a way. If you're looking at, the U.S. is going to, we're going to destroy the dollar as the reserve currency or whatever, Peter Thiel is trying to imply by that. But it really is, it's a tool for everybody. It's a weapon for everybody.
Now, I want to go back. The mainstream media picked up on this, I think, partially because, well, some people aren't fans of Bitcoin, and they like that, hey, if we can demonize it as a tool to destroy the dollar, then maybe it'll slow down its what's going on, the great moves it's been making. So what do you think about that? And that was the quote that I read by Travis Kling there, that Bitcoin is anti-American because it destabilizes the dollar. What do you think about that? Because I think
it's a really interesting argument to try to spin the patriotic sort of vibes on it, like you're anti-American if you are long Bitcoin, because hash power is concentrated in China and all the myths that come from China as it relates to Bitcoin. I think it's a really interesting take, because I would put Bitcoin as the category of Bitcoin is the most patriotic American thing there is, because it's the quintessential American ideal, which is freedom. So I don't understand, like, we have people that are, the powers that be that are systematically destroying our currency. I would say that's pretty anti-American than valuing, your time and your savings by storing it in a harder form of money, which is Bitcoin.
So there we go. Please.
Sorry. No, I just wanted to, I agree with that 100%. Like, it just shows how sort of like caveman-esque our thinking, or lots of these people's thinking, is about sort of the role between money and patriotism. Like personally, I think patriotism is like pretty virtuous. Like, you should support your like tribe and country and whatnot. But the fact that these people think like supporting one particular means of exchanging economic value over any others mean like that is like a pinnacle of patriotism is just like ludicrous, in the same sense that if you believe in an alternate religion than what a state might support or approve, or no religion at all, then somehow you're undermining like a nation state or your state, your tribe, your community, or whatever. It's just it's ludicrous.
Well, yeah, I find it very interesting that like the Rashida Tlaibs of the world that are destroying, want more money to be printed, and that's not helping the American people very much. They're the first ones that want to regulate all cryptocurrency and say that it's what's hurting the people. No, it is freedom. The intense regulations and new rules that some of these people in Congress want, and the printing that they want, that is anti-freedom. So very, very good points right there. Dennis, we've said a lot. Sorry, you can say a lot now. Where's Dennis?
You guys hear me?
Yes, baby. Yeah, take it away. Oh, Dennis. Oh, Dennis, you right at your moment of glory, you drop off there. Oh, wait, there you are. Give us your take, Deniz, if you can speak. Something's weird.
Am I breaking up?
Yeah, definitely. But if you just get rid of your picture, maybe
Yeah.
that'll help too. Yeah, just click on the non-video and start. Okay, we hear you now. Go for it.
Okay. Yeah, I think you guys hit the nail on the head with a lot of those points. The main thing that I took away from it was that, well, Thiel, he already brought up that they could have used the euro as some sort of Chinese weapon at that point. Sorry about my cat. But yeah, I mean, the agents I have in the field, the only currency they want over there is the US dollar. So
You're kind of breaking up. You're kind of breaking up there.
You're breaking. Yeah, you're really Deniz. Deniz, you're major. You got some major. We can't really hear you, so you might want to like jump on and jump off again, and we'll get back to you. Yeah, you've got your connection's dying on us here. All right, let's move on. Hopefully, Deniz returns stronger and better than ever. Pound that like button for good wishes there. All right, Coinbase. We're moving on to Coinbase. First quarter their earnings report is out.
To others.
Oh, the Coinbase earnings report is out, and they're going public obviously on Wednesday. So we'll talk about everyone's predictions for that. But Coinbase earned more in the first quarter than all of 2020. All right, so they are definitely on a roll. So your take on that, Kaz?
Yeah, I mean, it just legitimizes the entire space, the entire Bitcoin space, I believe, when you have a public or almost a public company, that reports 1.8 billion in revenue in the first quarter of the year. It really just legitimizes, the whole space. And so us at Swan, we're bullish on that. So, I mean, we sell Bitcoin. So, sure, we'll let Coinbase take the lead on going public. And, I think it drives adoption for everybody. So
that's a beautiful attitude there. Compete, don't complain right there. What is your prediction for Wednesday, if any? Will there be a Bitcoin pump? With all the normies are going to be talking about it, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, we have a little bit of foreplay going on between 58 and 60K here that it just seems like we can't break. So I think Wednesday we're going to see a pump. I mean, it's the first Bitcoin company or the first Bitcoin exchange to go public. Sorry, not the first Bitcoin company. So yeah, I mean, I think we're going to have a good week next week. Finally get a new all-time high.
I've been looking forward for it for a long time. But there's a lot of people out there that have asked me, they're like, hey, Adam, I'm going to buy some Coinbase stock. Okay, dudes, the underlying asset of Coinbase really is Bitcoin. They built their business around Bitcoin, then they expand the altcoins, okay? You buy the underlying. Now, let me just remind you, everybody, of something. Coinbase raised a $75 million Series C in January of 2015. Had they invested just 10% of that in Bitcoin, they'd be sitting on 30,000 Bitcoin today, worth $1.7 billion. So just something to keep in mind. It's fun to start these companies, but sometimes it's just better to spend your money on Bitcoin. All right, so Zach, what's your take on the earnings report, and what do you expect on Wednesday?
Yeah, it's it's obviously going to be an enormous event. I think we're still sort of underestimating, like, long-term how big of an event it'll be, simply because of the information that Coinbase's business will make public by virtue of it being a publicly traded company now. All of the sort of mainstream financial attention that'll be given to a publicly traded cryptocurrency exchange, like just the fact that will exist now is like monumental. I think, Tuesday or Wednesday, we will, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't see some sort of like bullish reaction to the listing. It may sort of retrace and taper off pretty quickly after that. Who knows? But yeah, it's a huge event, and I think Coinbase's growth quarter over quarter, or sort of the fact that this past quarter topped all of last year's growth, is seen on other crypto trading platforms too, like Robinhood, for example. Even though everyone has had their share of gripes with Robinhood recently, their crypto trading base, or sort of the activity of their crypto traders, has like more than tripled between Q4 2020 and Q1 2021. So across like Robinhood, Coinbase, and a bunch of other like retail focused trading platforms, or I should say across different trading platforms, you see a ton of retail trading activity. So yeah, I mean, as if we needed any more confirmation, definitely in the heat of the bull market. Like open question is what happens on Wednesday, but it should be, I mean, it will be big, like short term and long term.
Monumental, he said. Pound that like button. I think it's a monumental day. Also, were you surprised at all by the numbers, the first quarter numbers?
Not super surprised. I mean, previously we learned that Coinbase's like business model is like over 90% reliant on trading volume, and like volumes are up. So not super surprising there.
All right. Let's see if Deniz isn't in the house. It looks like you're, or maybe he is.
You see me?
Deniz, yes. Now, actually, it says your connection is good. So go back to what you were saying before about the previous topic, because none of it came through.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just circling back. I was just mentioning that Thiel brought up the fact that China could use the euro as a financial weapon as well, but that didn't seem to pan out in the last like 10 to 15 years because, well, if you go to Europe, no one wants any other currency except the US dollar. So even Europeans don't value the euro, even though I guess it is technically worth more than $1, but I don't know, from my experience and from the people I've worked with down there, and they don't want anything but US dollars.
All right. So you sound great now, by the way. Now, what's your take on the Coinbase situation here? Your thoughts for what's going to happen on Wednesday, and your thoughts on their earnings report.
I think it looks very good for Coinbase. They're gonna be very rich after that day. It's I don't know. I think it's pretty awesome that they're valued pretty close to what Goldman Sachs is. I think they're like 12 billion or something less than Goldman Sachs, but that's kind of insane to think about. But yeah, it means that we're just heading in I want to say like, I guess the crypto direction, if people value their wealth in crypto, but yeah, I think a lot of points were already hit, right?
Yeah, well, that's very interesting. It's going to be valued that close to Goldman Sachs. You said who did you say there? Which one? I got confused there.
Let me see. Goldman Sachs.
No, I'm looking at. Well, we can see. Who knows?
Okay.
Good luck.
It's 113 billion right now. That's how much Goldman Sachs is valued, and Coinbase is supposed to be valued at 100 billion. So it's kind of insane.
My Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the whole tech revolution and all their valuations are quite insane these days. So we're living in a golden age, but I mean, they could become the Facebook of cryptocurrency in a mainstream sort of stretched out way there. So I do hope it brings the normies on board and wakes more people up to Bitcoin. Again, there are many ways to get your Bitcoin. Don't treat it like a Bitcoin bank, but most people will. And that's just the direction we're going in. All right, so good. And remember, some of these dudes with their stock options, oh my, they're going to do. It'll be a happy day in Silicon Valley, I guess. And hey, I believe Charlie Lee's got some stock options, so people will be envious of him, no doubt, like they already are. Okay, so there was a rumor this week, and it was incorrect, and I corrected myself, that Roger Ver was going to sell the Bitcoin.com domain for that it was for sale for $100 million. Now, what it was GoDaddy just listed it without his permission. GoDaddy is shady like that. That is unfortunate. But it does bring up a question, and it kind of ties into what we were just talking about Bitcoin related valuations. How much is the Bitcoin.com domain really worth here? And I want to put in the from what I know, the highest selling domain ever was $49.7 million. Now I forgot which one it was, but do you think, Kaz? What do you think? Do you think the Bitcoin.com domain is worth $100 million?
That's a question I've never thought about before. Well, I don't think the dollar's worth very much. So if we're just going based on time, I would say, yeah, it's worth $100 million to maybe some individual. It's not worth $100 million to me per se, but maybe someone like Michael Saylor. There's one thing I do want to circle back with, just a thought I just had about Coinbase. So they report 1.8 billion in revenue. They're going public Wednesday. I would be interested to see if they're going to up their Bitcoin position at all around the time of their IPO, since so many companies, it's now trendy to have Bitcoin on your balance sheet, and Coinbase notoriously gets crap about it because they don't have very much, or don't have very many. So it'd be interesting to see.
Now,
do we know that's true though? I haven't followed super closely. Do we know how many Bitcoins Coinbase holds? Because I thought I remember something saying like we're going to be shocked when they actually disclose in earnings and whatnot after they publicly list how much they hold. I'm not sure exactly.
I thought it was just put out there actually how much that they really own it, and it wasn't that many. It was less. It was less than Michael Saylor. Than what's their faces? Yeah, MicroStrategy. So
okay, cool.
I believe that was.
Well, I mean, it's hard. Michael Saylor's gobbling them up left and right. So good luck to anyone who's trying to compete with his numbers, I guess.
Yeah, I do want to remind all the sellers out there, the people that think it's good. You're selling your Bitcoin to like a billionaire. He became a Bitcoin billionaire. We're going to talk about that later in the show. I mean, as of August, before last August, he didn't have any. Well, no one knew him in Bitcoin at that point. That was the month, August or September, when we heard about this company called MicroStrategy, and wow, has it transformed him and that company and the entire space, and it just set off this revolution of companies buying it. I did want to make a correction. Business.com sold for $345 million apparently. So I didn't. That's the highest selling domain ever. Then LasVegas.com was 90 million. Then CarInsurance.com was 49.7 million. So with that in mind, Zach, how much is Bitcoin.com worth?
I have no idea. I think it's. It probably obviously has like a huge amount of like search SEO value, but and just like the name itself. But like hopefully the ideal would kind of be for its value to erode over time. Like it carries the Bitcoin name, but like I wouldn't mind seeing its value or whoever owns it like erode over time.
All right. Dennis, your take on the value of Bitcoin.com and just all these insane tech-related valuations.
Yeah, I think if you're a whole coiner, if you have at least one Bitcoin, if you wait long enough, you'll probably be able to buy that domain. So,
dude, I don't know about that. I gotta say, it would be for Michael Saylor to buy it, for Coinbase, it's worth a lot to them. I think it'd be worth quite a lot of money. I think it's worth $100 million. I do think it's. I mean, it is money itself, so it's got to be worth a lot of money. I know that sounded simplistic, but in a sense, I mean, Business.com, that was money too. That was worth $345 million. All right, we'll see. I don't know if he will sell it ever. It is a valuable asset to own. So for those of you who don't like Roger Ver and the Bcash people, they got that one right now, and it is a valuable asset. Okay, let's move on to Zach here, because you haven't been on the show for a while, and you started a new job in Austin that deals with Bitcoin mining, and I want to hear about it. I want to hear about what I'm no expert in Bitcoin mining, but people always want to hear about it. Why'd you join? Why'd you move down to Austin? And just tell us about all the good things that are going on down there.
Sorry about that. Having a little bit of a connectivity issue here.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get this video back.
Did you hear my question there?
Yeah. No. Yeah, I heard your question. Sorry.
Okay, cool.
I just
You're back.
wasn't
You're
able
back.
to respond.
All right. Good.
Awesome. There we go. Yeah. So I am in the Free Republic of Texas now, I guess. A lot of great Bitcoin community down here. And like you said, I've pivoted sort of full time into, not sort of, I have, into the Bitcoin mining, working for an awesome company called Compass. Compass is, its ethos is to sort of push a retail focused mining service for buying and selling mining machines and hosting your machines at different facilities around the world. So probably a useful way to think about it is like an Airbnb for mining. You can go to Compass, select machines you want, select facilities you want to host those machines at, and Compass will facilitate all of sort of the transportation and initial hosting of connecting you and the machines you bought to the facilities around the world. So those facilities are sort of sorted by electricity costs and location, and all of them are sort of vetted and trusted by Compass. But like bottom line is anyone who wants to mine now sort of can go online and select a machine and a facility and get started. It's pretty sweet.
Airbnb of mining. Have you guys used that? I mean, that's a good term. I like that. That explains it.
Yeah, I can't. I didn't come up with that. Our co-founder Thomas Heller did. But
oh man, you there still? All right.
Yeah, I'm still there. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. And obviously, like, so if you sort of start from square one today and you want, like, which is a pretty reasonable and not uncommon thing for people new to Bitcoin to want, is to sort of create Bitcoins themselves, right? But unless you have like 10, 20, 30 million dollars sitting around to build a facility or scoop up a ton of machines, which are in and of themselves, even if you have that bankroll, that's a pretty difficult task to do. It's just hard, like virtually impossible for any like small retail player to effectively and efficiently mine and receive high quality service. And Compass offers that. So we have access to thousands of machines all over the world every month, awesome facilities. And so far our clients love it. So the goal is to keep that going.
All right. Now, Zach is linked to below. His Twitter is linked to below, so you can find Compass over there. All these dudes are linked to below. Best freaking guest in the space. I bring you every single freaking Friday. Pound that like button. Before the other guests may have questions for Zach before we get into Austin. I did want to make a correction on the show that I did yesterday real quick here. I was talking about my fasting for 72 hours and how that prevents, it might prevent the big C. What I meant by the big C is cancer. And I just thought that was everyone would. Unfortunately, we live in this era where when people think of the big C, they think about the current event that's been going on, that cold that people have been getting for like the last year and stuff. No, I don't care about that thing. I care about my health. I do things to prevent cancer. I don't worry about some cold that some 95-year-old is getting. Okay, so when I say big C, I thought that was just obvious to everyone. The big C is cancer. It's not the other thing. I wish we lived in the world where all the minds of the world that put their minds into that horrible thing that people are putting into their arms, that they thought about cancer instead, trying to cure that instead of this cold that's been going on. But anyway, I will go back to the I just want to make that correction from yesterday's show. So yeah, yesterday, panel members, did you have any other questions for Zach about the Bitcoin mining? All right. So
I have a
Zach.
question.
Oh, Dennis.
Yeah. Zach, have you noticed that? Buying miners in general, I guess, would not be the way to go. But have you noticed that the returns for just having miners on hand have outperformed Bitcoin for a little bit?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and it's accurate. It's an interesting sort of part of Bitcoin mining that, like, if you just hold on to machine, or if you have machines, they can tend to sort of outperform Bitcoin during like very, very strong trends in bull markets. Now, obviously, you don't like. There's significant risk to just sort of buying machines and sitting on them, similar to how you might buy Bitcoin and just sit on it. But now a lot of those returns, or sort of the inflated prices more accurately, are being seen on secondary markets, where people are sort of trying to buy up any machine they can find, pushing the prices higher for people who are willing to sell, because chip shortages are making the manufacturing of new machines very limited. And causing huge lead times for filling these new orders. So as a result, some of these machines are just way more expensive than they used to be. And those prices increases are sort of outpacing on a percentage basis the price increase of Bitcoin. But does that mean maybe you should like buy ASICs and sit on them instead of buying Bitcoin and sitting on it? Probably not.
Yeah, that's not an endorsement to buy miners to anyone, but it's just a curious thing. No one seems to like bring it up whenever that happens.
Some of it is because some of that data is hard to capture accurate. Like building that time series data of those price increases for ASICs can be a little bit tricky sometimes. But yeah, like at a high level, it's accurate that like obviously ASIC prices are much higher now than they used to be even just a few months ago, and those increases have sort of outpaced Bitcoin. It's interesting.
Always buy the underlying, baby. That's what I say. But Zach, there's a couple people that are saying it sounds like cloud mining and stuff. Do you want to refute that real quick?
Yeah, no, there are some similarities in that the customers, like you're not actually owning the facility and you are owning the machine, but you're not mining in your backyard. Like we're not going to mail you a miner and you plug it into your home, but it's not cloud mining, because we are handling actual ASICs and shipping them to real facilities that you have selected based on location and electricity costs and that sort of stuff. So it's maybe like you could think of it as cloud mining without any of the scam elements, I guess, would be sort of a very reductionist way to put it. But no, Compass is not a cloud mining company.
Of course. You've got a book in the background. Mao. What's that about, dude? You see that?
Oh yeah, just have a few Asian history books back there that I actually haven't read those in a while, but Asian history is pretty interesting to me.
But you know the destructive history of the communist Mao, no doubt.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out he's no fan. Zach is no fan of Mao.
No, definitely not.
For the people that see it like I did. All right.
I have the Communist Manifesto back there too somewhere, but just for educational purposes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dudes, just don't read the other side sometimes, and you'll see that how horrible it is. It gives you a good perspective. Just like I listen to the CNN, I read some CNN sometimes. You got to see what the normies are thinking. You got to see what's going on. Actually, the CNN just recently, they're talking about cryptocurrency, was that Tom Brady is starting an NFT company. So, you can get in with the CNN, or you can get in with the hardcore people that know it's all about the Bitcoin. All right. And real quick, Zach, you guys got any jobs down there? And what's your take on Austin compared to the East Coast?
Oh man. Yeah. I love Austin. It's great down here. It's just like one of the best places to be in the world right now, probably. And in terms of jobs, I mean, like there's like everyone's growing in the crypto Bitcoin space. Like companies are growing fast. Obviously everyone has a lot more money now than they did like a year ago. And they're opening up new positions. So if you're looking to join the space, I think you'll have plenty of options, but also like there's tons of interest in crypto. So there's a lot more people trying to take those jobs now too. Sort of happens both ways like that. But yeah, I mean, there's lots of jobs everywhere. Some pretty good like headhunting recruiting agencies focused on crypto now to help sort of streamline the flow of new talent into the space. Very exciting times, very exciting opportunities. So if you're looking like to take a job in this space, you shouldn't have much trouble at all.
In motion, people, no excuses. You hear from the mainstream media, everything's falling apart. Dude, there are crypto jobs all over the place. And yes, Texas is a good state to be in. I like Florida was Miami. I can't wait to return. By the way, real quick, speaking of Miami, we'll do a real quick question. Kaz, Deniz, and Zach, I guess in that order, are you going to be at the Bitcoin.com event in Miami on June 4th and 5th? Kaz.
You know it, baby.
Deniz.
No plans right now.
And Zach.
I am, yes, but I would also be lying if I said I wasn't like a little bit paranoid with how many like Bitcoiners are like. It's just going to be a massive accumulation of Bitcoiners in one place. So always be like safety conscious, and paranoid is never a bad thing. But yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, I'm from Baltimore, so I'm ready to be jacked at any moment. I mean, I got my chain on the door here in Nashville. Because I expect any moment I'm ready to take it on, baby. I've seen it first. Unfortunately, that changed my life for the better when it happened. When someone did try to jack me in Baltimore long ago. But so okay, good. I'm glad. I will definitely see 2 out of 3. It is going to be the biggest freaking Bitcoin event at all. Nothing to fear, people. We're kind of joking around, but of course, always be careful with your safety and whatnot. But yeah, those of you who grew up in the Baltimore area, you really don't have to be scared. So let's. So CEO of the biggest crypto exchange has close to 100% of his net worth in crypto. Binance founder and CEO Changpeng Zhao placing his bets on crypto. So this is a story that whatever his nickname is, I always forget it. But the guy who owns Binance, he's got 100% of his net worth in crypto. I say great. Now crypto, well, okay, if it was in Bitcoin, it would be even better. But for me, this is a new normal. I've said this many times. Just because I started buying Bitcoin very early on, and it just so happens I sold my house for Bitcoin and said all this other stuff. And the Bitcoin kept going up in value. That I too have an incredible amount of my net worth in Bitcoin. And just all these people recommend at least have 1%, have 5%, have 10%. You might not like that dude over there at Binance, but he's putting his money where his mouth is. He's a crypto guy, and so I see this as a new trend. I don't see it as shocking at all. I see as many people going this way, especially early adopters like me, are forced to be this way because Bitcoin has gone up so much in value that, of course, it's the majority of our portfolio. So, Kaz, what's your take on that? Having this big rich guy has close to 100% of his net worth in crypto.
Yeah, I think it's a trend that we're just going to continue to see increase. And if you've been around Bitcoin long enough, like you've said, you hold Bitcoin for a couple of years, it becomes 99% of your portfolio very quickly. So I don't know about 100. So going from 99 to 100 is actually a bigger step than going from like 0 to 99, I think. So, when you get that last, like, completing the Bitcoin circular economy where you go full Bitcoin, I don't know if he's there yet. 100% is like is a lot, and he's probably 90 something percent in different Binance coin and different crap coins, since we're not cussing today.
Well, yeah, he said close to 100% in crypto, and you make a very good point there. To get to 100% of your value, your net worth in Bitcoin, not own a house, not have any dollars in the bank, that's hardcore. That is, I don't know anyone that's like that. I'm just saying, to be over 90%, that's great. That's totally normal. I just see a lot of people just ending up in that situation. The 100% is, I don't see that. That is a huge step from 99 to 100. Good point though about that, Kaz. Deniz, your thoughts on being over 90% in Bitcoin?
Yeah, I think at some point I would like to see more people take on like 99 to 110% of their net worth in Bitcoin. But I don't know. We'll see. It's good that he's committed. Honestly, that just shows like conviction on his part. Just like where things are going. Hopefully, like 90% of that crypto is Bitcoin, but I don't know.
It's not. It's not. It's his Binance coin, obviously. But yeah.
But yeah,
centralized. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I always tell people to just buy Bitcoin, learn as much as you can, and then by the time you by the time you're orange pilled at that point, you'll realize, oh, I probably shouldn't be buying anything else.
All right, Zach, your take on this having an incredible amount of your net worth in cryptocurrency or Bitcoin?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll speak for myself personally. Yes, like it's the strategy I adopt, and I think it sort of is the strategy that makes the most sense if you're sort of like dead set and sure on Bitcoin, which like I am. I think very few assets will outperform it long term, but like obviously eventually there will become a point where, like, if we're sort of right about this, Bitcoin returns year over year sort of level off and other assets might start to outperform it, in which case like you'd want to diversify a little bit and hold something besides Bitcoin. But I don't anticipate that happening sort of anytime in the near or mid future, maybe even not in my lifetime. So personally, yeah, I'm 95, 100% Bitcoin portfolio, totally fine with me. I will say though, like I mean, if I was to own something else, like I wouldn't mind gambling a little bit on some of these like Bitcoin mining companies or like your MicroStrategies of the world, that sort of thing. Like you say, obviously probably prefer to own the underlying 9 times out of 10, but in that 10th instance, like, I mean, it's sort of all the same. It's going all the same direction at the same pace. So, or similar paces. So I wouldn't mind doing that, but yeah, Bitcoin.
Well, I want to say, guys in the chat, feel free to ask questions. Type in BitcoinMeister, do a super chat. I do see something funny over there from Max X. Binance Coin is the 3rd biggest market cap. What a disgrace. Well, dude, you got to give the guy credit, man. He was able to print his own money, and people clearly, they don't know the difference between centralized and decentralized cryptocurrencies. It's going to get to $100 billion in market cap. It's going to cross the Hoffman freaking line, dudes, eventually. So it is insane. It is. But hey, people are buying. People use it, whatever. That's their thing. I don't think it'll end well for everyone. You buy the real thing. That's Bitcoin. Okay, but if I have no problem with people printing up their own cryptocurrency, I not at all. I'm with the real one that isn't centralized. Let them do what they're going to do. Now, speaking about billionaires, though, the Bitcoin rally creates 9 new crypto billionaires in a year. Sam Bankman-Fried and Michael Saylor are among the newcomers to the Bitcoin to the billionaires list, and Barry Silbert was already on that list. Now, I bring this up because back in 2015 there were no Bitcoin billionaires, and now we're getting 9 new ones this year. And Forbes and Fortune come up with these billionaires list, and now they're forced to list people. How do they make their money as crypto billionaires, as Bitcoin billionaires? So this is only the beginning, clearly. And the Winklevi brothers, I think their goal all along is to become the first trillionaires, and I think they'll get. I hope they will get there. But I know they're going to become incredibly rich, and when they become wealthier than Zuckerberg, I mean, that's going to be a big story. But he might, he's printing his own. Speaking about printing your own currency, he's going to be able to print his own Libra or whatever it's called. So, Dennis, do you have any opinions on this new realm we're entering here, where we're adding 9 new Bitcoin billionaires a year, or maybe more?
Yeah, I think the trend is just going to continue. I think it's great. It's great to see more people aligned with our values gaining some sort of power in terms of people could also say that's a bad thing, but it depends. I'm not here to idolize anyone, but Michael Saylor seems to understand what's going on or where the U.S. is heading, and he's actually doing a bunch of great things with Bitcoin, and hopefully he uses some of that to improve his business, improve the people he works with, their lives and everything. But yeah, more Bitcoin in the hands of actual Bitcoiners means that we'll have more power to, I guess, create our own parallel economies and decide for ourselves what we want to do with our lives.
I think it's also a sign. We've got all these buzzers that are saying There's no point in Bitcoin. It's going to be made illegal. Yet people are becoming billionaires because of it, and you can't just turn it back at this point. It's becoming ingrained, in the Fortune 400 or the Forbes 500, et cetera, et cetera. It's not going away, people. I mean, it's a lot different than back in 2015, and I am impressed to see how things have grown. Kaz, any opinions on the Bitcoin billionaire list and who's next and how big it's going to get?
I'm not too strongly opinionated on this one. Like, the list is going to keep growing. We're going to keep printing money. We're going to drive the value of Bitcoin up by destroying the dollar and all other fiat currencies. So the list is going to continue to grow. I'm more interested in the smaller fish actually getting a stake in Bitcoin, orange pilling the people. Last week I just had the opportunity to do a TED Talk style presentation over Bitcoin and, just orange pill 7 people in an hour. To me, that's more important to get the average person to own Bitcoin and really understand it than the Winklevi becoming trillionaires.
Very, very good point there. I like it. Thinking about everyone there. And Zach, we'll let you conclude this topic, then we'll move on to something pretty normy, but it's got to be brought up.
Yeah, I mean, good question. I don't really have any names offhand that I think will be sort of the next ones to join that list. But yeah, obviously the list is going to, or we expect pretty strongly the list to keep growing, and probably at a pretty rapid pace, but we'll see.
Now, I brought this other topic up earlier in the show. Tom Brady is launching an NFT company. Zach, I haven't had you on the show for a while, so I haven't heard your take on the NFT situation. What is your take on this? Is it ICO 2.0? Does it have a purpose?
So ICO 2.0, in my opinion, no, just because it's so much smaller compared to that. But does it have sort of similar dynamics in some ways? Yeah, absolutely. I think so. And I won't lie, I've seen some interesting things come out that even interest me. And I say even because mostly all I care about at the end of the day is Bitcoin. But there's some interesting stuff that's come out of all of this NFT stuff. I think you see Tom Brady launching this company, or other examples Taco Bell and McDonald's launching sort of weird gimmicky NFTs. And then you have what may be original NFTs, the Unisocks project, that are actually backed by a real pair of socks stored somewhere in the world. And those are trading at I don't know, $130,000 a token or something. Last I checked, maybe lower than that. I can't remember. Please correct me if that's totally wrong. But so it's all across the spectrum. But I can't say there's absolutely nothing interesting about anything going on in NFTs. But I think most of it pretty solidly is kind of dumb, in my opinion.
All right, Kaz, your thoughts on Tom Brady getting into this and CNN because what keeps happening? It seems like there's NFTs generate a lot of clickbait headlines. So the mainstream keeps on talking about it. Now, I also think there's some underlying things within it that are interesting. It could change digital art or the way we think of art, and it could change baseball card trading and card trading collects. But I think there's a lot of nonsense in it right now. So I encourage them to keep on doing what they're doing. But I think there's a lot of hype because it's one sells for 69 million, and there's just a lot of headline catching stuff, and a lot of celebrities want to cash in on it. So what's your take?
Yeah, I think there's some things about NFTs that are interesting. I think generally the space is a little overvalued right now, overhyped. It's very similar to the ICO of 2016, 2017. But nothing of it is really unique to Ethereum. NFTs could totally be done with Bitcoin. We're talking about other layers with RGB and other protocols around the core protocol. You could do the same thing with Bitcoin and actually receive a sound form of money for it instead of Ethereum. So that's kind of how I look at it. But yeah.
All right, and Zach, we'll get your not Zach, Deniz, your NFT. Any NFT thoughts? Tom Brady thoughts? Take it away.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of these NFTs that are going for millions of dollars are just from celebrities. So it just seems like a cash grab for celebrities, or just early adopters like Beeple or whatever his name is, just to make, like, I don't know, the 90 to 98% of the lion's share that's going into NFTs. But I appreciate Ken Bozax's opinion about it all. It's like, if you want to buy it just to buy it, go for it. But if you're expecting to make a ton of money off of it, you're probably going to get wrecked. And honestly, anything like good that comes out of NFTs will probably be added to Bitcoin at some point. But I don't know. I don't see anything useful coming out of it in the long run.
Interesting you bring up Ken Bozak. That's a reminder to everybody, check out the archives for this show, This Week in Bitcoin, at techbalt.com, techbalt.com. 2 weeks ago, Ken Bozak and Phil Geiger they had a little bit of a confrontation, I think, over some NFT and Bitcoin type of stuff. You never know what you're going to get on this show, but I love that when we have a peaceful show. It's rare to have an argumentative show like that. We had Andy Hoffman and Murad had a legendary show, what was that, 2 years ago also. But we try to be peaceful, and I think that you guys have been very good today. So again, follow me on Twitter, also at TechBalt, TechBalt. Okay, we've gotten to the end of the show, and I just want the panel to, if they any stories I forgot from this week. I don't think there weren't too many big stories that were just overwhelming. There's the State Street. Was that this week that State Street is going to get into Bitcoin? But Caitlin Long warned people, that they're going to financialize it, or that it's not the real thing. Who knows? You can follow Caitlin Long for more on that. But I do. We'll start with Deniz. You're anything you want to talk about? You, of course, are at coinbeast.com/connect. People can talk to you there. People can talk to me there. You could talk about that, but anything that was left off, and anything else you're doing.
For sure. There was an article actually that came out saying that Kraken was thinking of an IPO. That'd be, I don't know, it's kind of setting a trend. If they can do an IPO, I guess, before this cycle stop, I think they'll be, I don't know, it might be a good position for them for the short term, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with more of these.
They will. They are going to go public. They are
at some point. Yeah,
they are. That's been around for. Yeah, I would advise them to get it in before the top of the cycle. Also, we don't know when that is, although it probably would be October. But I think they will get it in before October. I wouldn't be surprised. But good. Yeah, dudes, this is just Coinbase going public on Wednesday. Next week is going to be a lot bigger than this week, is something that I wanted to say. Okay. It's going to be a lot bigger. The news stories next week than this week. It's huge. What's about to happen? But it's just the first of many big name companies that are going to go public in the space. So the more the merrier, I say. So Kraken, go ahead, make my freaking day. And what else, Deniz? Sorry to interrupt.
Oh yeah, no worries. But yeah, I think Coinbase is like the classic example of how to do an IPO right. They're just focused on just revenue, and shareholders like that. They don't necessarily care about holding the Bitcoin, which is a big mistake, but they're going to overlook that, of course. But yeah, I think Brian Armstrong did everything correctly in terms of like getting as much fiat as possible, but not as much Bitcoin as possible, which is, it is what it is. But yeah, besides that, I'm still with Coinbase. We're doing a lot of great things, trying to promote Coinbase Connect and get all the pros in order, and just getting more people on board. I think we're in that phase of expanding it out to more pros, which is great. And
sorry, continue.
No worries. But yeah, if you want to check out Adam, just go to his profile on Coinbase Connect. I'm also there, but yeah, we're trying to get more of more specialized individuals as well, like things like legal and mining, and going to be pretty cool.
All right. And Deniz, I linked to your Connect profile if people want to talk with you over there. Check it out, people. The Coin Beast. I'm not wearing their shirt today. Everyone loves their freaking shirts. I know they'll sell shirts eventually at the very least, but check them out. They're trying to do good, teach pure Bitcoin to people. By the way, I see a question. Rave Elevator, you spaced out BitcoinMeister. You're supposed to write it as one word so it turns colors, but I did see it here. When do you expect financial unrest in the streets due to the dollar being an S coin? Never, because the people are sheep in the United States of America. There's only unrest when there's a news story on TV that's completely brought out the wrong way, and the media has a certain narrative of what's going on. You know, with the current trial that's going on, Ben Shapiro did a great take on that. I mean, the prosecution is doing a great job. The defense is doing a horrifying job. But where am I getting it? Anyway, what I should be saying is that the people, no, people are saying that it was the worst. You know, it looked terrible on TV. What happened with the Floyd case, and it seems like the media is getting everyone riled up to get into the streets when the Chauvin guy is found not guilty, and it shows you that people only worry about what they're fed on frickin' TV. They're never going to be fed that the frickin' dollar is an S coin. That it's going to be called happyflation. Everyone inflation is going to be, people are going, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So no, I don't.
They're already doing that.
Huh?
They're already telling us that right now, that it's like we need to raise inflation for growth, and we're going to try our best to get it as close as we can to 2%. Like, it's already made up.
Yeah. Again, we're very much on that path, and so I know a lot of people are just they think that Bitcoin is going to destroy the dollar and this and bring about a revolution in America, and all the 80%ers are going to hold Bitcoin. No, they're not. They're idiots. They watch what's on CNN. They believe every single thing on TV. They're not going to get into this. It's great that there are people that are trying to educate. And it's educate as many people as you want, but realize that most people are going to have fun staying poor, have fun being in fear for a freaking year. For a freaking year, people have been locked in their freaking bases. I've been traveling around the whole entire United States of America. This has been the best freaking year of my life. But for most people, it's been scared and this because of what the media says. So, dude, no, the S coin, there won't be riots in the streets because of the dollar. No, there'll be riots on the streets because of whatever CNN tells them to riot over. All right. Kaz, your take on, anything you want to add, any stories that were left out, anything going on? Yeah,
I'll just add one more, probably way too politically charged comment here, but if there'll be riots in the street over the dollar whenever CNN posts a story about the dollar being racist.
Yeah,
that's probably it. The one thing that caught my eye was HSBC, or Have Fun Staying Poor Bank, whatever you want to call them. They're now not letting customers buy stocks of companies that own Bitcoin. So new customers can now not purchase new positions of MicroStrategy.
Yes, I saw that at the very last minute before I went on. That's so weird. I mean, they're that strict because MicroStrategy is not Bitcoin. I mean, it does show the direction that some mainstream organizations have been going on through the years. You can't, if you're a Bitcoin business, you can't have a normal bank account anymore. But there's some, like in Wyoming, that they're going in the opposite direction. So yeah, I found that very odd, and I don't. Zach, did you hear about that story?
Yeah, I did. So I only saw a screen grab from one like HSBC client who specifically owned MicroStrategy shares. But I mean, obviously, it would make sense if the same policy was applied to like your Squares or other companies that are adding Bitcoin to their corporate balance sheet. I mean, like, kind of it's also like shocking and ridiculous, but also like, what do you expect? Like there's these like stalwarts of the mainstream financial system, and I guarantee there's some sort of external pressure that significantly influenced this decision, but also probably like internal, maybe prejudice, or maybe that's too strong of a characterization. But I mean, lots of different forces probably came behind this, and it's not altogether surprising, even if it's pretty stupid and annoying.
All right, going back to Kaz real quick. Anything else that you're up to that you want to discuss?
Can I jump on a soapbox really quick about that, actually?
Yes.
Just give me 30 seconds. So like this, as a Bitcoiner, like I'm super skeptical about almost everything in DeFi, but this is a prime example for why like almost no one in crypto disbelieves in the ideas behind DeFi, and this is like the prime reason why. They just are like unsure about all of the protocols and tech and sort of sketchy teams and whatnot sometimes, and sort of very rudimentary ideas that a lot of people are building. But that doesn't mean we don't want like a lot of these things to succeed. We want to see alternatives to these like crappy financial institutions that can just throttle your ability to buy and sell assets, or even like that prove you don't actually own them, or fully control how your money is allocated and whatnot. So yeah, this just proves the use case for DeFi at like an abstract high level, or at a high level. But that doesn't mean like everyone who believes some finance should be decentralized sort of signs off in mass on everything being built with the label DeFi slapped on it. All right, I'm off the soapbox now.
No. Good point there. But Kaz, you have anything else to add? You know what you're up to?
Yeah, I thought, Zach, that was a great point about DeFi. Anyone who is in the crypto space and thinks Bitcoiners don't see the same problems that exist in centralized finance and don't want that to come to Bitcoin are like extremely naive, in my opinion. Like, we understand the problems with the money. We understand the money system. That's why how we arrived at Bitcoin. The hubris of like altcoiners who think that they discovered DeFi and this like new sort of relic or whatever it is, a little arrogant in my opinion. What I'm working on, so I joined Swan full time. So I've left the fiat mining industry, working full time in Bitcoin now. Very excited about that, and still doing my podcast Down the Rabbit Hole.
All right, and I wanted to say, you know, I brought up the Chauvin case, okay? And I am no fan of lawyers, so I often get prosecution and defense and all that stuff. One of the reasons I'm in the Bitcoin overlay and I don't own like physical houses, physical assets like houses, is because a house is an attack vector. Ambulance chasing lawyers out there, they're buddies that had nothing to do than, you know, trip over people's sidewalks all day. They end up suing you, okay? So Bitcoin, you can't trip over, you can't get sued. So I'm not a fan of lawyers. I try to avoid the legal realm as much as possible. So I just want to, the Chauvin defense team is doing a very good job. You can watch Ben Shapiro, but if you watch CNN, you think that the prosecutors that are trying to convict him are doing a great job. I just wanted to make that clear. They're not doing a great job. I mean, like, just watch the Ben Shapiro thing from yesterday. Okay, now, Zach, we'll end it with you here. Anything we didn't bring up? Anything you wanted to add? What you're, you know, we talked about what you were doing beforehand, but you can expand upon it.
Thanks. No, I don't. I mean, I love Compass. I love the team. I don't need to shill it much more, but definitely check it out. Even if you're not like planning on buying ASICs yourself to start mining right now, check it out, because maybe you know someone who does, and it's a very cool company that's carving out a very important part of the mining space, in my opinion. But yeah, like just aside from Compass, I don't know. I love your show, Adam. It's like an honor to be back on, and like you always say, especially this year, strong hands have been rewarded. So why not continue the strength of those hands, right? So strong hands.
That's a great way to conclude it, Zach. It's been great to have you back on the show. Kaz and Deniz, always a pleasure to have you guys on. And Zach, hopefully you'll come back sooner. It was I believe the last time I interviewed it was like in November of 2018 or 2019 when I was in Adelaide, Australia. Actually, I believe that was the last time. I'm using my my big old memory up there. All right, dudes. That is the end of the show. I'm in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. I want to go running pretty soon. It's fun here too. It's a fun city. I gotta say, I've only been here a couple of days, but I'll keep on reporting to you guys. And isn't Bitcoin Magazine based here? Or they've got or somebody's
yeah,
in there.
are.
They are okay. So I'll run into one of them one of these days, hopefully. Okay, but everybody watching the show, 2 more dudes on this show. They're going to be in Miami. I'm not even part of the Bitcoin Magazine promotional team whatsoever. I just want to hang with everybody in Miami. I think it's just going to be such a happy event. It was such cool people, and I mean, it's 2 months freaking away, and I'm already freaking on fire about it. But dudes, we got a lot to do. We got a lot that's going to happen before then. One day closer to an all-time high. I'm Adam Meister, the BitcoinMeister, Disrupt Meister. Next Wednesday is going to be tremendous. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Tune in here every freaking Wednesday, every freaking Friday. And thanks a lot, everybody in the chat and guests. See you all soon. Good night. Bye-bye. All right.
Yeah.
Let me end it.